Salud. I'm like,
man, like, you gotta learn. Hold on a second. Take a sip. Damn,
That's good.
Nearest.
Shout out to Uncle Nearest. We'll be talking about that a little bit. But, yeah, what were you saying to me?
I was like, I travel a lot.
Okay.
And I love drinking, and I love drinking with other people. And I try to learn hello, goodbye, thank you, and cheers in every language I go.
Okay.
So, like, skål is cheers when you go to Denmark, pros, or, like, gambe. So, Nelson Mandela, he has a quote in Trevor Noah's book. He was talked about it. He says, and I hope I don't butcher it, when you talk to a man in a language he understands, you speak to his mind. But when you talk in the language of a man that they know, then you speak to his heart. And I know I kind of butchered that, but when you really take someone's language and acknowledge that, look, I'm trying to speak your language, it shows that I understand this culture is not mine, but I'm acknowledging you. What you did and what you're doing now is admirable because you're trying to adapt to my culture, but I still recognize you. So when I cheers in a language, it will go, oh, like when I do it in Chinese, like they're like, oh, how you know? How you say that? I'm like, it's fun. But when you do it like in Igbo or French, whatever, they even give you some more love.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, like, in the countries I've gone to where I've tried to be adaptable, I kind of get shot down. I don't know if it's because, like, just the way I'm doing the language. I honestly, like, it's usually because I'm with white people when I'm trying, and they just kind of, like, don't do this. Like, when I was in France, I would, like, try to, like, speak to them, like, you know, I would, like, learn some basic, like, questions or things like that. And like, don't talk to me. Like, just talk to me in English.
Just talk to me. Yeah, I mean...
I'm like, parlez-vous anglais? Like, oui. Just talk to me. You know, like, I was in Barcelona last year. I was trying to speak to the waitress in Spanish. I was like, yo quiero... and she was like, no, just talk to me in English. Like, I'm trying. Like, you know, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that, like, discipline to, like, really focus and try to learn different languages. But you also seem like a more sociable person than I am. Because I like to keep to myself, especially when I'm by myself at, like, a bar or something like that. I'm like, I'll just write and things like that. But you've always seemed very jolly. By the way, everyone, this is Vince Chang, comedian, storyteller, host, and just fashion idol right here. Every time, like, I've seen you 3 times now. I met you, shout out to Mark Ellis, a mutual friend of ours. Met you at a show that we both performed on. You were hosting, you killed.
Thank you.
And you always look sharp. Yeah. And then you tell me today, you're like, yeah, this is my thing. I'm like, oh, okay. You're like, I get custom suits made.
Yeah, over 10 years now getting custom suits made. I think I'm doing okay.
You are definitely doing okay because I know people that can't even get used socks. So you were definitely doing okay.
Well, the thing is, when I first started comedy, I've been on for 10 years in the New York Comedy Stream and stuff like that. I would come after work. So I worked in a corporate job. So I would be in slacks and, like, a shirt. Okay. And I see myself on stage, and I got this baggy, like, Van Houston shirt and slacks. And I'm like, yo, I look mad uptight. Yeah. I was like, what can I do to...
Van Houston, oh, yeah, that was, like, the old Sears days.
Man, Century 21.
Century 21, okay.
Man, a $50 shirt for 21, I bought 7. Okay. And they're a little baggy, but the thing about it was, like, look, if I edit it right, look, bring a pair of jeans and keep the vest and just add jeans and put some nice shoes, now it looks a little different. I look more approachable. And then it became my thing because then afterwards, I can go wherever I want. I learned a while ago, I try to dress so I'm prepared for everything. So I can wear this in a dive bar. I may be a little out of place, but I can still have fun. Yes. But if I get called for any show or any kind of event, like, hey, man, I got this ticket to go see, X1, Bad Boys.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's a transferable outfit.
It goes everywhere. And I'm more comfortable in this than my other outfits because it's kind of like my Iron Man suit. Got it. I just feel good.
So I used to dress like this in my 20s. I used to dress because I was very, I was like, what you're saying. I wanted to be comfortable and I wanted to represent myself in a very, professional way. And then I worked in tech for a while. And I was kind of like seeing all these white dudes in like t-shirts and shorts. And I'm like, why do y'all dress like that? Like, cause I was taught like always wear a suit. Yeah. Like when I interviewed with this job, I remember like I had a suit on and I interviewed with this white guy who literally just had on like basketball shorts. And like a visor and shit. And he was like, why are you dressed like that? I'm like, because I'm a black guy in corporate America trying to get a new job. And this is how my parents raised me. You know what I mean? I got the job and stuff, but it was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna just be true to myself. And like as I got older, I'm like, okay, like I want to wear stuff that I think represents me. And so it started with like
this
T-shirts and like I love black jeans for some reason. I didn't know that until like 2 years ago because my family was weird. So we're gonna talk about your upbringing because you have an interesting upbringing. I was raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan, the suburbs, by black Republicans. So I was kind of like, So I was kind of like forced to wear khakis, not like because I like them. I eventually grew to embrace them. But
so you wore Patagonia or something like that?
Not even. We didn't have that kind of money. It was like Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer was like us being fancy and shit.
Okay. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I was looking like Dawson Leary.
What?
Like I had the little side bag and shit. If y'all know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. The little side green bag he used to have. I got that. But you're Jamaican and Chinese.
Yeah, that's from my mom's side. My mom's side is Jamaican Chinese.
Okay.
So my other side was I found out Black, Irish, and Argentinian because my grandmother was adopted on my paternal side, and we didn't know. Again, 23andMe wasn't out there, so we all just said, "Oh, you're Brazilian," because all my uncles, except like my dad and one aunt, have green eyes. Okay. So they're like the Black, Irish, and others. So I said, if I ever had those green eyes, I wouldn't be here right now. Yeah. I would be on the beach.
Do you get red hairs in your beard?
Yes. Oh, right here? Like, if you look right here, if you guys can see right here, this is all blonde hair right here. So
because I get red hairs in my beard.
And so, what's funny thing, like when I talk to females when I'm going out, they'll talk like, hey, yeah, you can, and they'll just stop and start staring. I'm like, okay, it's like, is your blonde, what? You're blonde, but you're, and I'm like,
do you bleach your mustache?
Like, get it out. Do you have a blonde beard? I'm like, yes, it is a blonde beard. Yeah. So that's one side. But my mom is Jamaican Chinese. Okay. I'm named after my grandfather, Vincent. His name was Vincent Chang. Got it. So I want to give him homage when I was on stage and stuff like that. Anybody ever told me I'm just like him? Okay. He was one of the smoothest guys you ever seen in your life. Because my great grandfather was born in Hong Kong. When my grandfather was upbringing in Jamaica, fast talker, businessman, dressed to the nines. And it's kind of got that from him. Like, one of my favorite players in football is Deion Sanders. And, that quote, he says, look, man, when you dress good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. And when you play good, they pay good. So I've always been in that mind.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
No, I love him so much. I love him so much. I mean, one of the best quotes right now, he's saying that all these people out here want to be role models, but some of these models ain't playing a role. Like, oh, you dropping.
I mean, that's kind of like some Johnny Carson. Not Johnny Carson, Johnny Cochran kind of stuff.
Well, that's lawyer. I mean,
yeah, but he was good at like those. Yeah, I mean, that's just black folks though. Like, black folks, growing up in the church and shit. That was.
But my mom was the same way. Being from a Jamaican household, she would teach me a lot of things. Just that have been ingrained into me, saying like, never be afraid to ask a question. The worst thing someone can say is no. Never say no anything until you actually try it, so you have a reason why to say no the next time. And what she has instilled in me has gone to where I am today. How I got, I think, far in comedy and entertainment. And even like we're drinking whiskey, I would be in whiskey bars. I love drinking whiskey scotches. Like, my favorite one is like Ardbeg. We're gonna shout it out right now. We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, we talk about Uncle Nearest.
Uncle Nearest, and this is amazing. It's the first time I'm having it.
This is the first time you ever had it?
First time I ever had it.
Let's have a little bit more, man. Okay. Cheers.
Skål. I'm gonna try to say a different cheers just to mess them up every time. Ayo. But no, this is great. And when you're in those kind of environments, it's all about conversation. I had to learn two things. One, learn how to shut up, because I thought I knew everything, and I was, especially in the comedy game. So I'm drinking with whiskey bars and stuff with people in corporate. Okay. When you're doing the same thing to comedians, they will put you in your place quick.
Oh, yeah. Quick. You better be witty as hell if you're going to be coming at them like that.
Gotta be witty and know what you talking about. I knew an OG comedian. I remember he was saying like, hey, man, you guys don't know about what music is, some old school music. I said, man, I know old school music. He said, yeah, give me some old school music, man. I was like, yeah, like,
How old did you go?
Boys to Men and stuff. And he's like this, yo, give me the Commodores, man. Give me Earth, Wind, and Fire. Give me something else. Yeah. And he destroyed me. This is like my third year in comedy.
Got it.
Learn how to be quiet. Learn how to listen.
Yeah.
And then learning how to put addition to our conversation. What can I add to this night? And my mother also, when I told you stories, was like, well, I wanted to learn that for yourself. You got to learn that for yourself. And then she'll give me a whole bunch of other stuff. And then I became obsessed with quotes. And like, we talk about the Deion
Sanders. I can tell.
Well, like, my favorite quote.
I wish I could quote. I'm low key like jealous of that because I just don't have like you know when you get to a point and like I'm a little bit older than you, you start getting to a point in life where you're like, I don't know how much more I can put in the hard drive,
bruh,
without getting an external hard drive attached to me, and I don't know how that works. Like that's not available yet.
But I think they're saying that the study that you can only keep over 200 names in your brain. Okay. And then once you put a new one in, a name just falls out. I don't know how true that is. It was like one of those studies. Yeah. But with quotes, the ones that really mean something, like for example, one for you, and it's worked as a great cheers. I'm a nerd. I think you're a little nerd too.
Oh, I'm a blurred all through and through.
Harry Potter. Okay.
I mean, have you seen?
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Come on, bro.
But Slytherin. Okay. Yeah. Which I have a really funny joke, man. Well, I don't know if I can say that.
Well, I mean, we're basically Black Republicans. It all fits.
Take that for yourself.
Well, I'm just saying, man. If you think about it, we didn't really know any black characters in the Harry Potter series that were part of Slytherin, but with the Malfoys running the shit, come on.
Oh man, it'll be all business. It'll be
well, I mean, it was a crazy party. It was like it would be like cocaine and like lifting up like Muggle girls and shit.
But Albus Dumbledore, he said this great quote: "Never let regret be your most loyal companion." Yeah, and I literally took that to heart. And it's a great cheers.
Ironic, because Dumbledore had a lot of regrets.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just saying.
And it's funny thing, the thing about it, if you want to talk about where his sexuality was, then he's talking about that.
Yeah, they never fully
really exposed on that.
Well, definitely Howells hinted at it, which is why it's so weird with the author. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but what she was doing is something like, but you being one of your primary characters, a gay man. He was a closet gay man, but
that's anyway. Fine. I mean, the thing is that live your truth, you know what I mean? And to land the plane, you know, I started learning how to, you know, we're storytellers. You gotta get on the path. When you start drinking with people, you start to get the truth as well. Yes. And you can get a lot of facts. You can get a lot of opinions. But you do lower that veil. You lower that guard. And sometimes it's not even intentional. It's just before you know it, because I have a gift of gab, and I've been blessed with that, I have a lot of acquaintances and friends, I can say, that I go, oh my God, like Clarence Avon. Ever heard of him? Godfather of Hollywood. Look it up. Everybody, look up Clarence Avon, okay? He's the reason why a lot of connections happen in Black Hollywood. Okay. Like from the Jamie Foxxes and stuff like that. And
was he like part of the, like, how old was he when he got, like, and who did he get started in the business? Was like Robert Townsend? Was he even older than that? Like,
older than that.
Okay.
This is like way back in the sense of, you're talking about
something like the 70s?
Record labels and movie, studios were just getting created. And he was one of those guys that just knew about connections. And he always said, I never had problems, I had friends. And you got to realize, when you got people that can watch your back, you will not have a worry in the world. Yeah. And I've always tried to really hone to that, but also find common ground. And we're going to keep coming back to, like, when you're drinking a good glass of whiskey or scotch with a friend, life tends to slow down. And those moments you'll almost remember forever until you drink too much. Yes. My quote before is a little opposite for you, but I say tequila makes me do something fun. Whiskey makes me do something dumb.
Yeah. Tequila, I've had, you know what it is? Tequila is better for me now because there's a lot better like tequila brands now. Like I love Casamigos. I think it's like the Tito's of tequila. Like it's not too heavy. I can have a good night. I don't throw up the next morning. Yeah. Tequila just blocked me from a lot of opportunities. You know what I mean? Like that like because it sneaks up on you.
But did you mix?
Yes.
See?
Well, so I would do margaritas and then I would do shots.
Brandon.
I would do shots.
Mr. Collins.
I know.
You should know the rules.
I know.
That's the thing. It's like Jim Brewer was one of my favorite comedians too. Another unsung hero. He has a joke about alcohol and like how you can't mix them, and when you do, it causes fights in your stomach.
Yes.
Party in the stomach. Look it up. But I've learned with tequila, if I drink it all night, I don't get a hangover. I'll be fine. With whiskeys and scotches and the way it's been distilled has that sugar. And how we're going to talk about Uncle Nearest, the way he distilled Jack
with the maple charcoal.
The maple charcoal. Yeah. And also reading about how Africans were purifying and filtering a lot of their water from like...
We did all the dope shit, man. We had some sugar water.
But we got... What? We can make anything that's on the bottom taste like on the top.
Yep.
I'm Jamaican, right? Oxtail. This is what you threw to the slaves, right? Now it's
best
one of the
meal of all time.
Yep.
Oxtails, fresh oxtails over a bed of rice. With some like
rice and peas,
sauteed veggies and shit.
What? With a side of cocoa bread with Guinness.
I don't do Guinness. Red Stripe.
Red Stripe.
Cold, fresh from the cooler.
Right before it freezes.
And you see the ice fall off of it as you take it out the cooler. And you about to, and you got the plastic utensils with oxtail because for some reason we never had the regular metal utensils.
What you that? Could you guys see me? With the oxtail, you hold it just like this, and I'll get...
Oh, I do that after I've already like cut all the meat up.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to get too sloppy because usually I'm on a date or like I'm with my wife. And
oh man, you bougie. Oh, you affording oxtails?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we got a dope Jamaican spot that's like 20 minutes away from our house, but with Uber Eats and these new rates, it's like almost like $1.50 when we order. Oh no, it's so expensive, but it's so good.
By the way, my Jamaican accent is terrible, so everybody gonna be on there like, yo, man, that's my kind of speak. But to the point though, you know, you have that good food and whatever, but we took that stuff and made it amazing.
Yeah, it's soul food too.
I mean, I don't know if you know the history because we're gonna get to this, but the history behind the lobster. Lobster was it was the poor man's dinner, but they call it also the poor king's dinner. So there was a time back in medieval times where, you know, every king and the kingdom had like a chef. Then there was a huge famine, or whatever. So then all these chefs go down by the docks. I mean, all they know is to cook, but they can't afford to be cooking for the kingdom more.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do? So they're by the docks. So they got all the seafood and stuff like that. So the lobsters, the crabs and stuff. And of course, you go to different cultures. You know, that's the bottom about it. You're not supposed to eat this. It tasted so good that the king started to get good with the economy, and they tasted it and said, "Oh my God, this is delicious. How expensive is it?" Like, no, this is the cheapest thing. And they flip it. And now it's one of the most expensive things that you can have. Now, same thing with oxtail.
Yeah.
Expensive things you would have. And we have so much.
I mean, it does require a lot of labor.
It does take a lot of labor, but still delicious.
It's crazy expensive.
But it like what this man has done, which you got to give credit where credit's due, you know, being from just a regular slave, and I think he just loved just a regular. What I'm gonna say? What is a premium slave? Like, no,
I mean, he definitely probably didn't have it as rough because. Okay, so folks, we're talking about Uncle Nearest, Nate Nearest Green, and he was a slave. He was born in Maryland in like the 1820s.
Yeah,
some of that. Here's the thing about Nathan Green. Like usually we have like a slideshow of like the subject matter, like like their whole life and everything like that. The issue with Mr. Green is that there's no actual photographic documentation of him.
Yep.
And the only photo that they had from the Jack Daniels library, so to speak, was Jack Daniels sitting next to a black man. What a lot of people thought was Nathan, but it's actually like his son.
He has his son, and there's two black men in that picture if you watch it.
Yeah.
So there's a black man next to Jack and another black man in the back.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I think we were going to talk about her, Fawn Weaver.
Yes.
If you see the actual picture and you blow it up, the black man is actually in the middle. They cropped it so Jack was in the middle. But if you go up, and back in those days, no. That's
you can never, like, a black man would never be sitting next to, especially the boss.
Don't you didn't watch this recent thing about a dad wouldn't let his daughters shake the hand of a black professor? We got that now. Imagine that back there. You ain't rubbing your dirty elbow next to me, but make sure you make this whiskey.
While I wear my white hat, looking like Yosemite Sam.
Oh my God, I got some good chicken. I'm gonna learn how to fry from you. But I mean,
yeah, apparently he wore hats because back then, like baldness wasn't accepted. So he wore hats all the time.
Wasn't accepted at all.
Look at you rocking that. How long you been like?
I rocked this for the pandemic. After the pandemic. So after the pandemic.
You fully embraced it, like, I'm just going to keep shaving?
So this is two reasons. One, I started balding early. Okay. I'm not going to lie. There's balding in my family. Except my great-grandfather, where he's a real yardie. 103. Like, died at 100, and mine had full head of hair. White hair, right? But blue eyes. Again, black men strong. But the funny thing is I didn't get that gene. I got the height. And I started getting this little nest egg, right? Like, so no one knew because I'm over 6 feet. Yeah. So no one's looking at that. But when I'm in the pool, you know. So I was like, what am I going to do? And this is when I found out who my real friends are. So I had this mohawk that was like at least 4 or 5 inches. Okay. This thing was all the way back, like crazy. And I loved it. I picket. I wanted to do the whole T'Challa kind of like Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to do that so bad, but then all you women out there, shout out to you, because I was gonna get extensions and hair, and it was a car note, bruh. Like $300 for the hair.
I mean, I remember I was such a hater of like his style in Black Panther, and I remember me and one of my closest friends in comedy, we were like drinking one night, but like, low key, that's a dope ass look.
Really, it is
like,
dope.
It's like
That's what I wanted. I always wanted locks. Always wanted dreadlocks. So anyway,
and you could just never grow out your hair that long.
I had a chance to do, but I also went to Catholic school growing up. So when you had to be, it had to be a religious reason why you can have it, or it had to be low.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I shaved it, and this is when all the people of Chang Dynasty, I love y'all, F y'all, because once I shaved, I found out who my true friends were. They're like this, Vince. Thank God. We've been waiting for you to shave that damn thing off your head for years. It looks so terrible. It was ugly as hell. I'm like, then why'd you say nothing? Because you were so happy. Bro, tell me if I don't look good.
Yeah, so you grew up around really supportive people. Like, I would learn real quick, because I grew up in the suburbs, and I grew up around, like, I had, like, very few black friends growing up. I didn't, like, get, like, close black friends until high school and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know any better. My mom, like, encouraged everything. She was like, if you want to do this thing, baby, like, we'll try to make it work. So I was picking the boy bands.
Like B2K and stuff?
No. Like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and shit.
I want it that way.
And I wanted blonde streaks in my hair.
Okay, bro, now you're being Cisco.
And my mom tried to do it. I ended up looking like Dennis Rodman.
But that's one of my favorite players, though, the Worm.
I look crazy, bro.
No, of course you look crazy.
And like I still remember the roast. And the problem was I wore like a tight white shirt. And because I was on steroids because of my asthma and stuff, I had like man titties. It was like, I still remember that day in band camp, like in band class. Yo, like, I've never been roasted that bad. I've sat at tables with like some of the hardest comedians in the world. Yeah. And it's nothing compared to being in 7th grade in that class.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. You kind of look like a chocolate candle. So I don't know. Why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know.
But hey, I'm glad. Because also, social media, whatever. Remember that kid that wanted to have Super Saiyan hair? He wanted to look like Goku, and his mom made his hair like that. Yeah. So shout out to your Mrs. Collins. Is that
Miss Collins?
Miss Collins. Miss Collins, I give you the props, man. Cheers to you, because you were a son that had a dream. She's like, I'm not gonna take the dream away from my baby. You want to look like a.
She's gonna make it a nightmare. She said,
"Hey, everybody saw you coming. You were bright."
But speaking of dreams, it's not. Nate's life, I don't know. I don't know if it was a dream. It sounds like he loved what he did with the distillery, distillery.
So what we know about Jack, because we got to talk about him.
We got to talk about Jack Daniels.
How he came as 7 years old, chore boy. Again, child labor now.
Yep. He joined the plantation, the place where...
they distillery.
Nathan was enslaved. He was sold to this guy, Cal...
the Reverend?
Yes, the Reverend. And he's the one that ran the distillery and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And basically, he had Nate running it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had Jack Daniels, this little kid came by, and he was like shoveling shit and working along the blacks.
Yeah, along the brothers.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, though, is...
I didn't know that's how they treated white kids back then.
What?
Like, if you ain't had no family, if they all died,
because he was an orphan. Yeah, he was an orphan.
Yeah. So do you think Nate drank? Yes. Obviously he had to test it, but do you think he was getting drunk?
You think he was getting lit from it?
Yeah.
You got 11 kids.
Yeah.
Baby, we're going one more time.
But I wonder, did he? Okay, there's always the shit you send to your boss, and then there's your version. When I worked at Subway sandwiches, right? I would make the honey.
What?
Yeah. I was an assistant manager. I would make the honey oat, right? But then I would low key put that seasoning on white bread, and that shit was boss.
So you made your own concoction.
I did my own little loaf.
Yeah.
I'll make that with the rest of the bread, but that won't be for me.
But
it tastes so good.
Now, here's the thing. Nathan Green, Mr. Green, we should put respect on his name, made Jack an amazing whiskey from his twist on it, right? So whatever he was distilling before, because we don't talk about what he was distilling before.
True.
What was the whiskey he was doing before?
Yeah.
It's saying that it was similar to, but I think when he went to Jack Daniels, he added that this is what I'm going to keep to myself But I think that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about what was the line of whiskey that he was doing. Don't forget the difference between, Kentucky bourbon and Tennessee and stuff like that. Yeah. He had a spin on it that makes it so good.
And that's what gives Jack Daniels that specific kind of sweet taste.
Yeah, sweet taste, yeah.
Because I always remember, like, when I first started drinking Jack Daniels, I'm like, this tastes kind of like, it went perfect with Coca-Cola. Because it tasted like just a little bit like a Coca-Cola with a little bit of a kick. You know what I mean?
Well, I should tell you the story how I started drinking Jack Daniels. So, like... So I grew up in Long Island, right?
Okay.
So
we're in Long Island.
Baldwin, Nassau County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then went to Holy Trinity, go Titans, out in Hicksville. But in the house, like sometimes they'll have like a bar that's already in the basement. So my family had a bar, so it was nice or whatever. So when I was coming back from high school, you start growing up because of Jamaican household. They always gave you a sip of something. They go, come, get a sip of this.
Sort of.
Get a, I mean, I was eating sorrow with the rum in there. Ray and Nephew. You want real rum? Ray and Nephew. All right, that. Gas power a car, but it would. People say it put hair in your chest. It will take it off. Like it's that strong.
Oh shit!
And I drink that straight now. But
damn,
because it help with teething. If you ever have kids, get Ray and Nephew. Put a little bit on your pinky. Put it on that gum. Baby go right to sleep. Picnic gone. So what happened was
does the baby wake up?
Yes. I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Just making sure. That'd be wild.
The child services coming.
My wife was like, why is our baby not waking up?
Yeah, they went down.
Vince didn't tell me.
I didn't know how much. So anyway, so I went downstairs and it was like, I think Smuckers or Puckers, like the green apple thing, right?
Yeah.
So I take a sip of it. I'm like, oh my God, it tastes so good. Green apple, my favorite candy, da-da-da. And then I saw a bottle of Absolute. I was like, what's this?
That's wild.
Vodka. Okay, so I'm going, oh God, this is terrible.
Absolute taste. So, Absolute. Okay.
Absolute.
For some reason, I thought you said Absinthe.
Absolute no, not Absinthe. I had Absinthe 1.
Absolute is rough. It's not as bad as Smirnoff. Smirnoff's my first drink.
But Smirnoff was college.
Yeah.
But this is me just tasting. It was there.
Yeah, it was just there.
So I'm like, all right, cool. But wait a minute. This candy thing tastes good, but this tastes bad. But I kind of want like a harder, kind of love sour. Yeah. Let me mix them. Oh, crap. I made an apple martini. I felt like the old Yu-Gi-Oh game when you put two of the thing, come and build the cards. Blue eyes white dragon. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, man. So when I got older, I found it was an apple martini, and I thought that would be a good order to drink. I didn't know the rules of being a man ordering drinks.
Yeah, that's what frustrates me. It's like what you like, man. Don't judge me. I'm like, I like a lot of stuff with like, some garnish and like some fruit and shit like that. Because my philosophy, especially in college growing up, like, and tell me what you think of this, was I drink beer. I'll drink something straight, right? Yeah. But I don't mind like a mixed drink with like some fruit and shit, like some blueberries or whatever, blackberries or whatever. Because if I'm trying to hook up with somebody, I want to make sure things taste well, right?
Wow, you think about that?
I'm being courteous.
You're being courteous.
I gotta think about my diet.
That's what you're thinking about? What'd you eat before you had that drink?
Probably some bread and some ramen because I was a dude.
So you don't think the ramen gonna cut up the?
Well, I'm trying to balance the sodium.
Some oily. Man, that shit gonna use that Vaseline when it come out.
At least I'm thinking about it.
It's gonna make that shiny. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. Nasty. 6 years of marriage. What's up, Mrs. Collins? So I went out on a date. It was funny, and I'll never forget. It was my first date. Okay. Like as a grown man, I was like 23 years old. And
that's your first date?
Like a date that I had money that I could take out. That was my money because of my job.
Wait, but you grew up in Long Island, right?
Yeah, but like in the sense of this. No, let me lie. 24. In the sense I got a job. Yeah. Like I have a job. I have my own like real paycheck. Okay. And I'm taking a date out in the city, and I'm taking them to a bar. Okay. Like to a bar, like a date. Not like a date I take you to McDonald's.
Well, no. I mean, this is a reflection like where I grew up and stuff. Because I that Subway job, I was 16 years old. I was assistant manager.
But were you taking girls out to bars getting drinks?
I was taking girls out to restaurants.
Yeah, but not getting drinks.
No. I mean, I'm not.
This is like my date.
I'm not like the guy from Goodfellas. Just fucking tipping the dude going through the kitchen and shit.
Amuse you? So
that's hilarious.
I go and I order a drink, and she said, "Hey, if I feel quick, I'm gonna go to the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I said, "What do you want?" She said, "I want gin and tonic." I said, "Okay, cool." So I said, "Let me get a gin and tonic and an apple martini." She said, "Okay, cool." She comes back in perfect sync. The bartender has the 2 drinks and slides her the gin and tonic, but me the apple martini. I said, wait, dude. I never told you who ordered which drink. He looked at me like this, bruh. We all know you got the apple martini. I'm like, yeah. So I had to stop. But then I said, like you said, like what I like. Yeah. Cool, we had a good time. It wasn't until my brother took me and my family out to go see D.L. Hughley.
Okay.
And again, this is so interesting. So now this was actually when I was younger, but I was still doing like the whole. Oh no, I was older. So we took out, and I was still doing the like apple martini and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I was leaking up to drink.
Yeah.
But I was tall. I was over 6 foot. So we all get to the line to get drinks, and my brother gets his Kettle One. Everybody gets a beer.
Okay.
I go, Vince, what you want? I said, let me get an apple martini. He said, what the fuck?
You said all enthusiastic
like I was like, apple martini. He's like, you ain't drink no damn apple martini. He's like, he's joking. It's like, what we get? And my brother said, get him a Jack and Coke. I said, what? What's that? You're drinking it. Took one sip. I was in heaven. I was like, whoa.
Okay.
With Jack and Coke, it was sweet. It was nice.
Yeah.
You heard the kick. And then that was my go-to drink every time I went out. Because then also it wasn't embarrassing to get an apple martini, Jack and Coke. But then it went off to like Jack and Ginger, which is a Jack and Ginger ale.
I think it's a little bit more balanced, the Jack and Ginger with a cherry in it.
Yeah, I never did the cherry.
No?
You teach me something. I never tried
Well,
that.
like, because sometimes, like, I know some people do, like, Jack and Dr. Pepper with a cherry.
I've heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
And I had that a few times. And I'm like, oh, let me try it with, like, a cherry and ginger ale. And it gives it a little interesting.
I'm willing to try anything once. Some things, but literally anything once. But the one thing that opened up the world of whiskey, scotch, and bourbons.
Okay.
You know, like I said, Ardbeg's my favorite and stuff like that. But drinking Uncle Nearest now, this is a sipper.
This is smooth.
I would try this with an old fashioned to see how that is. I also would try it with a drink, as you just said, you like fruity and stuff.
Yeah.
I found a drink called a penicillin.
Okay.
Penicillin is whiskey, bourbon, or dark.
Yeah.
With honey, lemon, and ginger.
Got it.
So they usually have like a ginger candy on it. As a Jamaican, love ginger. Grew up on honey with tea and stuff like that.
I love a Moscow Mule. So.
So I started doing penicillins. Then I started switching to mezcal penicillins, but we get past that.
Got it.
But this I would try with it because it's smooth, but it doesn't have that hard bite.
Yeah.
And also, like, I always make a joke, like, Uncle Nearest, I didn't know was black owned, and we're going to talk about Fawn Weaver when we get there. But, like, I always thought one liquor was black owned, which now we find out Jack Daniels is. Elijah Craig. That sounded like a football player we never heard of. And then he created his own line.
Yeah.
But this is like, oh, shoot. Now I want to support this business because it's
delicious.
delicious.
And, like, when you learn about the legacy of Nate Green, because it wasn't until 2016 that Jack Daniels, there's a New York Times article.
Yep.
That actually was like, oh no, like Jack Daniels isn't the one that invented this recipe, like for their whiskey. It's this gentleman Nate Green,
Yep.
Uncle Nearest Green, which is so wild because there's no real context about why they called him Uncle Nearest. In fact, they used to misspell it back in the day.
I think so. I think know why? Because the way this is when we were doing the research. Jack Daniels, Chore Boy coming through, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Unc, like we call like Club Shay Shay, Shandy Sharp, right? There's always that one guy in your life who is your uncle. Uncles are always cool. They ain't your dad, but they ain't like a distant person.
Yes.
They're the median person. I really think this man, Nathan Green, has so much respect on this quote-unquote plantation that I think even the white men were coming in for advice.
Probably.
I
It's
think-
like it's like if instead of how do I make black people's life, living hell, like the Steven character from Django Unchained?
Yeah.
If he was like, I actually love making whiskey. Like, and the cavalcade's like, oh yeah, we'll just make some whiskey.
Hey, boy, come here. Look, here's the thing. All right, there's this man over there named Uncle Nearest. Go talk to him. He be like, hey, man, how you doing, man? Everything good? All right, man. This what I'm going to teach you how to make this whiskey. This whiskey good. Now, I'm just man upstairs. Mr. Reverend, he's good. He loved Jesus. We love his whiskey. But I'm going to teach you some things.
I feel like you're like doing an audiobook of the story.
This was going to happen right now.
It's-
No, but I really think he was that guy.
Yeah,
that
he had to be. He had to be.
He's one of the first. He is the first,
He's
I
the
think.
master distiller.
The
He's the first black.
And with a glass of whiskey,
Yeah.
as I just said when we started the podcast, your walls go down.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you talking to a white man who has so much hate in his heart against black people.
Yeah.
But you get him drunk in a comfortable situation, not like hostile.
Yep.
And then you just go, hey, man, why you hate us, fo? Why you hate us? And you never know. He be like, you know what? I honestly don't know why. I was raised like this. And then...
But people frown on something like that. That kind of conflict resolution. Because when you think about, what was it, the dean of, it was a established college or university.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Obama did that beer summit?
Oh, okay.
Between the campus security dude and that guy?
Yeah.
And people hated Obama for that.
But hate all you want.
It's like,
but
you
it's
gotta
the
get people to-
conversations you should be able to have. And
What's the number one thing that people look for in a presidential candidate? Can I have a drink with them?
let me have a drink with you.
Yeah.
I'm literally the reason why people are getting lit. I mean, whiskey, scotch, all spirits.
That's true, especially in 1820. Well, 18 at this point would be like 1850s maybe.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah. I'm trying to escape.
I'm getting people hammered.
I'm getting hammered.
We're escaping slavery through the delicious nectar of my sugar charcoal whiskey.
Look, I don't know about you, because again, I'm glad we were born in the 80s, because you were born in 86, right? I'm 89. I remember being in my 20s, getting lit, and then taking a nap on the grass. There's nothing better than that.
Wait, what?
Taking a nap on the grass.
Well, how did we get there? Wait, why are you taking? Wait,
getting lit. Like,
you grew up in Long Island. You have a house.
We also had grass.
Well, why are you sleeping on the grass? Did you not make it into the house?
No, I'm still got Jamaican blood, like being outside, bro. See, this is another thing. Wait. That no. Where you from again? You from like Michigan?
I'm from Ann Arbor. Yeah.
Ann Arbor. Can't spell it.
We had grass there too. I wasn't just passing out.
Just lay in the grass.
I was laying in my car.
Look, I love. There's one thing I love. A good date for me is walking through Central Park, sipping some stuff, maybe getting a little tipsy, and taking a nap under a tree. That is, to me, prime. No one knows that about me. And I was a country boy.
Like a Julia Roberts romantic comedy from like 2001.
It works. Here's the thing. I was a country boy when I lived down on Long Island.
Okay.
Right? Because I couldn't tell. I'm gonna come over there and whoop
that.
I'm
sorry.
Okay, man.
It's just
you ever smoke them left-hand cigarettes?
the casual way you were just like, yeah, I used to wiggle on grass. I'm like,
what? Like, so here's the thing. Yeah. So my dream when I lived in Long Island was to work on a farm. I wanted to work on a farm. I wanted to be outside as much as I could. Because also we were in the era of Nintendo 64, playing with all that. But then you went outside. Outside was a privilege. What was your punishment? You can't go outside. That was a punishment. So me growing up.
And you were a social person.
I'm very no. Actually, no. Growing up, I was not a social person.
Okay, so this is like you just want to be outside with the elements and like the world.
Yep, I was Urkel growing up. Then I became Stefan. So, but I will say I was such an outdoor person that my family, again, they tell me to this day, loved watching me because one of my best things to do during the summer was digging a hole. Swear to God, they gave me a shovel. I'll go in my backyard and I would just dig a hole the whole day. And they loved it because they know where. I thought I was digging to China. Okay, I thought I could dig to China. Were you singing Negro spirituals while you doing it? Oh, it's gonna be another day. We had this huge tree in the back.
The Lord gonna come.
It was a dirt spot, and I said, "Hey, Mom, I want to dig a hole." And she's like, "Oh, okay, all right, go."
She didn't have red flags.
I was a weird kid, bruh.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, but where was I gonna go? I'm staying in the. Remember in the yard, you can't go past that fence.
Yes.
Okay. So I am in the backyard. You can see me. I have a shovel and I'm just digging hole and I'm looking for worms. I'm looking for different bugs.
You're exploring.
I'm exploring, but I
you have a purpose.
I'm having fun digging a hole.
And my kid just comes up to me and says, "I want to dig a hole." I'm like, "Nigga, what? Like, what do you mean?"
I want to dig a hole. And I was happy being.
But I love that your family like accepted that because
I was such. If you look at my whole family, I am literally the black sheep.
Got it.
Like my mom's very light skinned, like Sean Paul. My brother looks like Sean Paul.
Oh wow.
My sister's light skinned like that, right? My dad's almost like this complexion.
All the same mixture, like in regards to like race and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the thing about that is, I was also a kid who was nerdy, very quiet. I mumbled all the time.
That was me too. Yeah.
So becoming a comedian, people were like, "Get the F out of here."
Yeah.
So, but me being outside was the place I found peace. And I love riding bikes. I don't know if you remember that Rhino bike. It was with the first bike with pegs. And I wanted a Rhino bike so bad. Yeah. And once I got my bike, I rode my bike everywhere.
Okay.
And all I was every single park. When I got older, I started getting into basketball. But, there was a place called Baldwin Park, which was like almost like a couple of miles away. Take like a half an hour, 45 minutes riding to get there. I would love going there by myself and just playing in the lawn.
Okay, so we have similarities in regards to that.
Yeah.
I didn't ride a bike though because my grandfather traumatized me. My grandfather's 6'5", and he tried to get me to ride his grown ass man bike when I was like 7. I flipped over and I fucking hurt myself. Like it was traumatic. So I used to rollerblade.
Oh,
And I would rollerblade all around my town. And that was like the most peaceful thing I could ever do.
So you ever seen the movie Brink?
Yes.
Yeah. Johnny Tsunami.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Fell in love with snowboarding, but also from that got into skateboarding.
Okay.
And I was a skateboarder. We had a skateboard.
Yeah.
And again, black kid trying to skateboard. So already
back then in the 90s too. That was
identity
weird.
was like, yo, what are you, bro?
Yeah.
What are you? Like,
especially with your last name and everything. Yeah,
like,
you got a lot of questions.
What are you, bro? Like, are you okay? Like, we don't know what you are. Like, and I'm like, in my mind too, I'm thinking, I love Beast Wars. I love Tony Hawk.
I love Beast Wars.
I love Beast Wars.
That's the first thing.
Who knew? Cheetor, Optimus Prize, Rat Trap. What?
But you're at a skate party, and the first thing you think is, I like Transformers. They're like,
nah,
what?
Beast Wars before like Bumblebee. No, man, I was with the animals. You know, right now, that was me. Stars. So that was my stuff, and I would buy them and then also Zoids. I was in the Zoids, so I would make that. And I would make the Gundam. I was the perfect kid to watch because I would dig a hole or make a figurine. So I'm either like trying to go to China or making Dark Scythe from Gundam. Like, who doesn't want to watch a kid like that? Like, literally, no trouble. My brother and sister, they were the wild people. I was at home in my books. I was book smart I was top, 8-10% of my class, right? Not one lick of common sense though. I would look both ways on a one-way street. Like I'm not like, I did not survive in the hood. Because every weekend they would take me to my grandma's house. One grandma lived in Queens, another grandma lived in Brooklyn. So I would get taste of the hood, but I didn't really know about my blackness.
You're like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed.
I just didn't know.
Yeah.
But to my point is that I also appreciate the elements. I was obsessed with fire, big pyromaniac. I dreamed of like taking all the Lysol and making like a TNT kind of thing and blow it up. Almost lit my house on fire one time. But like I've done a lot but I was like really curious about everything. Don't be judgmental, be curious, okay? Don't be laughing at me, Toro, okay? No one got hurt, okay?
Our engineer Toro's just losing his mind.
Okay.
But okay.
So
because we gotta get back to Nate.
I'm landing the plane. So getting tipsy, going outside to me feels good. So imagine you drinking this right now. We're feeling pretty good, right?
My belly is warm as fuck.
Yep, it's a day like this.
Yeah.
It's a nice about like 75 degrees outside in New York.
Yeah.
Imagine going to a nice park, sitting down with your boys, no fire, whatever, and you got a nice cool breeze. Uncle Nearest.
You know what?
After a hard day's work.
I would do that with you.
Yeah.
I would do that. Because I don't know anyone, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone in my friend circle that would be down to do that, but I would actually do that.
I've done it so many times. And the funny thing is, as we're just talking right now, I've done it with a lot of white people. Now black people are like, well, you want to do that for me? I'm like, dude, just try it. Because then you get subtracted from the social media, from the TV, whatever. You're outside in the elements. I think Uncle Nearest, after a hard day's work, you know, the saying that when they distill good and then also in the angel share, when it goes up, he had his own batch.
Well, in the trivia, like in the facts we learned, he used to play the fiddle.
Play the fiddle.
And he was an entertainer. So, you know, he was breaking out that fiddle like...
Think about this. Just think about it.
He was like, you niggas like that whiskey? Let me play you a little something.
And the white people like this. Yeah, I did like that whiskey. Every white person we call a nigga now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, think about that after a hard day work. And now, as you just said, do you think he had a little something extra? So he makes the regular bottles for whoever, and he got this bottle in the back. So again, Jack is now, let's say, 14 years old, because they drinking by then. Takes out that bottle. They outside.
That's right, because holy shit, you're right, because if the stuff he was making before was the Jack Daniels recipe, it would have been Cal whatever's whiskey, not Jack Daniels. So he had to trust Jack. You're saying he had to trust Jack, this little white boy, so much to be like, hey, I'm gonna break you off a little something. And Jack is like, we gotta make this.
This is delicious.
Got it.
So starting from the mailroom as a chore boy, which we've seen so many successful stories about that, working up, but knowing he got a golden goose. I'm going to treat Jack like my uncle. You family, because I know.
Nate.
No, sorry, I'm going to treat Nate. Treat like
We've been drinking.
No. Yeah, we have been drinking. No, Nate treating Drac like he's my nephew.
Yeah.
Yo, man, we've been talking real stuff. He may be my golden goose, because don't forget, he a white boy. Hey, you my golden goose. You got the supply. I can get the demand. All right, we going to work together. 14 years old, whatever, and they outside sipping.
Yeah.
And now all the walls are down. Dreams are being said, X, Y, Z, and before you know it, hey, what if, hey, Uncle Nearest, what if we did this ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, the Civil War ends, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, based on how everything worked out, Nate unfortunately didn't get anything besides his freedom.
Yeah.
But
like that's not important.
Yes, but remember what we were promised. I mean, in the history we didn't learn, but listen.
He got his freedom. Yeah, that's all he got.
But remember what we were promised, and he fought in the war. Now we couldn't find anything that he fought in the war, but if he did, he got fucked.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean.
But yes.
Whereas Jack is able to be like, "Hey, Cal, you want to sell this, distillery? I got it."
But now here's the thing. What if, and this is all speculation,
yeah.
As I said, they had those conversations, you thinking he got fucked over, right? Nathan knows I'm going to be okay. Jack is going to take care of me. I'm going to wait, bide my time. Now, Jack is old enough. Hey, remember when I said about that promise when we were drinking at 14 years old underneath that tree when you were fiddling? Now it's time for business. You didn't. I said fiddling. He didn't diddle him, okay? He didn't diddle him.
Just the way you said it. When we see both like
when you were fiddling,
endearing and also a threat. It was weird.
So now they're old enough.
Yeah.
He creates this thing and said, "We know we got gold. I'm not putting you to work. I'm gonna let you work." Because remember, it said that Jack paid everyone equal, and now this Uncle Nearest. That he doesn't see color anymore. He sees an uncle. I don't care that you black. I need more of y'all. Y'all making me rich. I don't know why white people won't. Are you kidding me? I've always said this thing, that white people, I think, hate black people because they got survivor's remorse. They got survivor's remorse, but also they really have buyer's remorse. This is why. Survivor's remorse because now they're surviving to see the heinous things that they've done, right? Buyer's remorse because you created nearly the most perfect human being on top of what was a perfect already. Let me explain. You got us in Africa, right? We already chilling. Ain't nobody messing with us. We run around butt naked. We surviving using herbs, da-da-da. All of a sudden you put on a cruise that we want to be on. All right, bet. When you were on the boat, if you got sick or you were out or whatever, they just toss you off the boat. So now you have some quote-unquote amazingly healthy because they're surviving the diseases.
Strong-ass immune
They're
systems.
strong. Okay, so now we get to the plantation. We're going to make sure you put to work strong. If you're weak, we just kill you. But now we're going to breed the strongest of all, and we're going to mess with your mind, manipulate the Bible, manipulate this. Cool. Now, you're taking, as a great debater, Denzel Washington says, keep the body strong, but weaken the mind. Now, you're making our body go up. You put it on level 9,000, okay? But you're taking our mind, integrity, whatever, our spirit, putting us down. Cool. Now, we get our freedom. Civil rights movement, cool. We're already on level 9,000, level 99. Technically, we should not be able to break the ceiling, but we have all this room to get smarter. So now we're getting smarter, but we're realizing, oh, second, there's a glass ceiling. We're breaking through. Now we're the strongest of the strong and becoming the smart. You already made a perfect human being even more perfect. You made us invincible. So now they're having buyer's remorse because if you just left us alone and kept everything equal, we would not have so many amazing black inventors that they're not getting credit for.
Absolutely.
And this is why I wanted to take this man. Because you had an amazing list, by the way. Hey, look, everyone get on this man's podcast, okay? Drum Play History. He gives you like 40, 50 people that you would never even seen before.
That's just scratching the surface, man.
Exactly.
That's just scratching it.
Because it made me go to, I wrote a poem about this stuff and da-da-da. And then, I started doing more research and I had this whole thing about finding black inventors. But now we have to be great. We have to be exceedingly exceptional just to survive. Yep. So now, just from the simplest things, though, Nathan was just being normal. I'm taking something from my homeland, what Africans did, but then I'm going to add something because I think it's more creative. It was an accident, but then he just knew how to do it. Then he became a master at it, naturally. You got to think about what it takes him to be a master distiller.
Yep.
You're around fire all the time.
He's doing it every day. 365, because they get no vacation days as a slave,
Bro.
so he just working
Every day. There's no PTO.
Yeah. Yo, if you got PTO as a slave, something bad gonna happen to you.
Can I take a real quick break to go to the creek? Nah, pee in the thing. Oh, I bet. So now you got this amazing inventor of this fantastic whiskey, and he's like, I don't even want the credit. I just want to make this. But then I think Jack then puts all that slavery and stuff aside. Hey, yo, I'm just gonna treat you as an equal, bro.
Okay.
You really can do something great.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just that we don't. It's tough because we don't have the full context about what happened. But I imagine generations of Nathan Green's family wouldn't be associated with Jack Daniels if they weren't being treated right. Especially once we get into the 2010s ish. And, all of this came out in 2016. Yeah. I imagine the family felt very wronged when the George Floyd stuff happened. The Black Lives Matter, they would have been very vocal. Like,
they would have been pissed.
So I do think that they did right by the Green family.
Well, here's the thing.
Over generations.
In Jack's biography, this man's name was said over 50 times. Yeah. In a white man's biography. How many white men, and I don't know, somebody correct us, give credit to the black people that made them great?
Just Rocky Balboa to my knowledge. That's it.
Alice Ball, top chemist, scientist from University of Hawaii, created this amazing concoction that can help with leprosy. No one gave her credit, but the president of Hawaii, University of Hawaii, takes the credit. It wasn't until her scholars said, yo, no, she made this. Yeah. A lot of things in the world that we have, from the traffic light, whatever. This here, to me,
even Movie Passes most recently.
It brings so much joy to my heart that we hear this guy, Jack Daniels, who's easily a billionaire, basically. Everyone knows Jack Daniels. There's 3 dark liquors Jack, Johnny, and Jameson.
Yep.
You know them. And now you got single barrel. You got the green Jack. You got the honey Jack. With honey Jack.
Yep. You also got the Uncle Nearest now.
Now, Uncle Nearest. This right here is the Super Saiyan version. Maybe the Super Saiyan God.
How do you think, I don't know if it's Miss or Mrs. Weaver, but how do you think they came up with the formula for this whiskey?
Fawn Weaver, I think what they did was maybe, because if you look her up, she did an extensive amount of research. She's
an author that just broke into Nathan Green's biography. There's a museum in his name. She created this foundation in his name. And of course, Uncle Nearest, 1856, which is, for me, it's my favorite whiskey.
No, I mean, this right here is top.
Okay.
Okay, man. So hold on a second. This is cheers, I think.
Cheers. Salud, mi amigo.
Another one.
Gracias.
De nada. ¿Qué pasa contigo? This is why I don't. So this is when you drink this.
Yeah.
And it goes through your whole circulatory system. I feel it in my fingers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really drink that much anymore. I only drink for the podcast, so.
Oh, really? That's all you drink?
Yeah.
That's why you're turning red?
Yeah, man. That's why I look like a fucking cherry right now.
You look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Rain nigga. No, that's I'm sorry. I gotta stop saying the N-word. I'm trying to be the NBC.
It's fine, man. It's a black podcast we talking about. It's black. I mean, you did talk about falling asleep in the lawn.
Yo, bro, that is so peaceful, bro. Don't knock it until you
You know what it is? I feel bad that I'm coming off judgmental. I'm not trying to, because I grew up in Michigan. I did some wild shit. Everything
That's not wild shit, though.
I mean, at the time,
I'm not laying in the middle of the freeway. I'm laying in grass. It's in my own backyard or a park. That's a public park during the day.
Yeah, but you're also a black man. You can't be just hanging out in the park.
Bro, have you not seen the black man with... Yo, cowboys were black first, bro.
That's right. We were pioneers in everything. So that, to your earlier point about the legacy of Nathan Green, is so important to share, because there's so many things that black people do that are breakthroughs, where we are pioneers, and the history just keeps getting erased. Yeah. And for me, I am very thankful that the Jack Daniels Corporation and family finally gave Mr. Green his due. I don't know the circumstances behind it, but nonetheless, the story is out there. But there's so many black inventors, pioneers, scientists that just have not gotten
the
credit, and the people that maybe they didn't have anyone like you in your previous story about Alice, where people did advocate for them, people did stand up for them.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what breaks my heart sometimes when we do the show, which is, you know, we've been through so much, and we keep going through so much because we're living in a country right now where people are blatantly trying to erase history because of that buyer's remorse, that, you know, the survivor's remorse you're talking about. Yeah. And I think we would do so much better if we all just had drinks and talked about, hey, here's the real shit.
Yep.
Here's what really went down.
And that's what Uncle Nearest did. And to your point, I think Fawn Weaver talked to the kids, talked to the grandkids, and say, hey, you think he had some kind of recipe that he didn't share? Maybe he had some, because this tastes different from Jack.
Yes, absolutely.
It tastes different. It's smoother.
I like it way better.
Yeah, I like it way better.
Jack Daniels, I mean, so when you look at the bottle, you just know it's going to be a wild night. Something weird's going to happen.
But think about this. We can say we're both nerds, right?
Yeah.
As I said, and back to the thing, if anyone's seen Dragon Ball Z, you remember when Goku and Gohan were laying on the grass, Krillin was watching them, they were Super Saiyan the whole time after being a hyperbolic change, and they come out, and he's like, oh my God, it's so cool, they're Super Saiyan right now, let me throw the rock at him, oh my God, he's gonna smitherize it, and he throws it, hits Goku, he's like, ah, why'd you do that? That's why I lay in the grass too. Anyway, back to my set. What I was gonna say is this, is that I think when he broke the seal with the Reverend, he made that whiskey, right? Then he broke the seal and made Jack. All you could do is keep ascending. I think there was a recipe, and it's my own. I mean, we got to talk to Fawn. I don't know. I didn't do research about
that's the thing is like there's.
He had something else. Yeah. He had something else that's more distilled, better.
Yes.
And this tastes amazing. But as you just said, I truly think playing the fiddle, he must have been a personal guy. He
had to be.
To have respect like that.
To have respect like that, because it's more than just one man to run a distillery.
Boom. And it's not like Django, Samuel L. Jackson's character, where everyone
was afraid of him. No one actually followed him.
Yeah, but think about that.
Yeah.
He was also drinking with Leonardo DiCaprio, saying, hey, don't trust that dude.
Yeah.
But I think he was an opposite, because I think he was outside talking to the people in the house, talking to everyone outside the house, and literally said, hey, yo, whatever your controversy is, let's drink, let's talk about it. All right, come on, let's talk. Because that's what an uncle does.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what an uncle does. Uncle is a man. No matter who you are. If you're an uncle out there, you a man. Back to Deion Sanders' quote. Look, all these people want to be role models, but these models ain't playing a role. Be that real role model. And to say, you know what? When they old enough, sit down, whoever is your partner, your nephew, your brother, whatever. Hey, yo, let's talk about it. We ain't gonna if we gotta get scrappy, let's get scrappy. But we get scrappy like men. Yeah. Ain't no nines, ain't no knives. Just these guns right here. I really think he organized a family amongst this distillery, especially when Jack is saying, look, I'm a white boy. I know you black. I know I'm white. And it said that Jack, according to history, he had no slaves. He respected everybody. Again, not in a room where it happens.
Yes.
But to see the kids still here.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like either they genuinely like have good relations as families, or they were just like, we're just gonna pay you black people a lot of money to keep your mouth shut. Either way, the Green family doing okay.
Nah.
I hope.
Let's bring this home.
I want to see a comment in the YouTube channel saying, "Hey, I'm Uncle Nearest's like great grandson. This shit ain't cool.
This ain't real." But again, correct us, all right? Again, we're not in that. But now, bringing it home, Fawn Weaver founds this amazing new whiskey that, if you look on its trajectory, in 2017, right?
Yep.
It's been nominated like top whiskey.
So many awards.
People are loving it. $80 million a couple years ago, projected to make $100 million this year.
I hope so. This bottle cost me $50.
$50. Okay, we know that. Look, I've been out there in Kansas. You ever been to Kansas?
Yeah.
Don't go there. All right, here's the thing. This Kansas was different. This is how Kansas was. I went to this part of Kansas that I got off the plane, and 3 people looked at me, and they were black, and they didn't know they were free yet. Like, that's how crazy Kansas was. They're like, all right, what's up? And I went down there, and they had dollar shot night. I told you this joke on stage, and it was dollar shot of everything. This is $50. That means it's a good whiskey.
Yes.
Now, to that point, this company right here, Uncle Nearest, 1856, is now $1.1 billion. Any black business that begins with a B, that has a B in their net worth, is doing beautifully. Yeah. Okay? And it's very hard. There's a person right now we're never going to talk about because, you know, can't stop. You better stop. What? Woo. Got in the liquor company.
Uncle Nearest.
Got in the liquor company and now became a billionaire, right? Mm-hmm. Another one got for a black woman, and a black woman, a black queen, taking something that was from the history books, basically taking nostalgia and bringing it to the future. And that's what people got to realize. The past, you don't need to run from. There's a lot of things in the past that can make you better in the future. I do this analogy that sometimes everybody is holding two pieces of rope, right? This your future, this your past. If you hold both tight, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Future. No, if you're holding both tight, past and future.
You're going to stay still?
You're going to stay still. You got to loosen the grip of something.
I want to go to the future.
You want to go future. So let go of the past. But here's the thing. I tell people.
This nigga is a Black Riddler right
now.
Black
Riddler. Jim Carrey's one of my favorite characters. I would love to be a Black Riddler. Riddle me this, riddle me that. But here's the thing. Yeah. Just loosen the grip a little bit.
Okay.
But still have a little, so you can always go back and take a glimpse.
Yeah.
Always move forward, but it's okay to look back a little bit. Mm-hmm. You got to look. That's why you think doctors go to textbooks. Architects go to past projects. Yeah. Comedians go to the greats.
We go to old jokes and stuff too. We go old notebooks from when we first started. Yeah. Be like, is there anything here? Probably not.
Yeah, you may hate me because again, Eleanor Roosevelt. One of the quotes is, learn from other people's mistakes because you cannot live long enough to make them all. I'm going to say that again. Learn from other people's mistakes because you cannot live long enough to make them all. When you understand that, you can move even farther in the future. What Fawn Weaver did was, I saw this article, something didn't feel right.
Yep.
Let me fix this.
Yep.
But to have Mark McCullen, I think, the president
of Jack Daniels,
Jack Daniels, to be like this, one of the first things he says, how do we make this right? Is also a propel to the future by recognizing, because we know history is only written by the winners. Hey, you know what? This man is the reason why men go outside, sip whiskey, and have a good time. He's a reason why a lot of fights may have started, but a lot of fights have ended. He's a reason why half the college people in this world have lost 3 million brain cells, but made us $3 million a night.
And it's the reason why there's a lot of babies out there.
The whiskey dick can sometimes be opposite.
Yep.
But he is a proponent to history. And again, absolutely. I'm glad we talk about it. As much as we talk about liquor, but he did something that he will never truly understand. There was a friend of mine, and his name is Ernest. His name is Ernest, actually. His name is Ernest, and it rhymes with Uncle Nearest. And he's a cute. Shout out to the dogs out there. We were in a cigar bar. And we were in college. And we're drinking whiskey, smoking cigars. And I'll never forget, we're talking to this guy, and this guy was like a high-end politician, whatever, and I can say his name. I remember we're drinking, we're smoking, and this guy's dropping dimes on us. But then my man Ernest said this. You know, the funny thing is we're all here at different ages. And we have different occupations that separate us, different views that divide us. Yeah. But it's what we drink and what we smoke that bring us together. And I think Uncle Nearest really, truly wanted that. Wanted people to come together. It don't matter what the color of your skin is. It matters what's in your cup, what you're drinking, and the memories you make. And I think that is the story.
And on that note, Vince Chang, please tell the people how they can follow you, bro. Damn. Okay.
Vince Chang, VINCECHANG 21 Chang Dynasty. You know, you're all out there. Like I said, never let regret be your most loyal companion. But the one thing I do love is that this man to the right of me is doing the community a service, but also people a service. There's a lot of unsung heroes out there that don't have the complexion for the protection. And you do your research. Everything that you think that just came out of nowhere may have came from a black person. It really have. Look at the street lights. Look at certain things that you iron board, certain beds. What we live is a legacy of a lot of legends that have not been told. And this man right here, Mr. Brandon Collins, has made a platform so we can hear these stories and really understand history. So I really appreciate being here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Folks, you know you can follow me at Frodo_Black.
This amazing setup! And your man put some midget. God, I don't know if I can say little person. Man, going for the ring. Frodo Black. Are you serious? I gave you the alley-oop, bro.
Oh,
Yo.
I knew I had to do it though, because I was just like for the moment, for the reaction. But you know you can follow the show at Official Drunk Black History on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to LV Film Pro House for housing us for tonight and always having us for these incredible conversations. Vince, thank you again so much for being our guest tonight. Talk about Nathan,
Yep.
Nearest Green.
Yeah.
Uncle Nearest, y'all.
So
Until next time.
See, 1, take 3.